When this RitFit compact leg press and hack squat machine first came out, you saw a lot of people review it. RitFit sent this to a lot of people. We all set it up. We all showed you how little room it took up. We all showed you that you could do 4 exercises: hack squats, reverse hack squats, leg presses, and calf raises. And that was about it. And that was probably 4 or 5 months ago. I've had this thing for about 5 months, so I figured, hey, in true GymCrafter fashion, it's time to show you guys how it lasted after actually using it for a bunch of months, what I like, what I don't like, and whether or not you should buy one for your garage gym. Welcome back to the GymCrafter YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Tim. I am the head gym nerd here at GymCrafter.com, the website that I built to help ordinary folks like you and I build home and garage gyms that we absolutely love. And one of the challenges we all face when we build our home and garage gyms is space. And whenever you see the word compact put in front of something, it always promises that it'll save us space and provide a lot of function in a small area. And that's no different with this RitFit compact leg press hack squat machine that I've got right here. As I mentioned in the intro, I've had this thing for about 5 months. I've used it quite a bit. I've had a bunch of clients use this. So I want to take you through and show you the things that it's really good at. And there are a few things it's really good at. I want to show you the things that I wish were different, especially for somebody my size. And I want to point out its limitations so that if you decide that you want to put something like this in your gym, you'll know if this one is the right one for you or not. And I think that's the key, just the overall, let's jump to the end, kind of the verdict of the review is this is a tool like many other tools you would put in your gym. And it's a tool that's going to work great for some people, and it's a tool that's not going to work great for others. So hopefully by the end of the video, I've shown you why I say that, and whether or not it'll fit in your gym will be clear to you. And something I want to point out right up front is that after testing several leg presses and hack squats, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that leg presses themselves, not the hack squat part, but leg presses themselves can put your lower back in a pretty compromised position. And it's not good for my lower back, and it's not good for most people's lower back. The way that these work, when they kind of scrunch your legs up into your chest, it really forces your lower back to round. So I would caution anyone out there who is prone to back issues or prone to back pain, that while it seems like a leg press would be a good alternative to back squats for folks who have back pain, I would tell you that it's actually not. It's going to put a lot of stress on your lower back. You can kind of work to never go past parallel and to not go real deep, but that's one of the reasons people get a leg press. And with the weight up here pushing down on you, you end up going deeper than you would in a standard squat. So if you're after something that puts less stress on your spine, I would advise that you look maybe at like a belt squat or something like that, and not necessarily a leg press. But that said, there's a lot of you guys out there who like the leg press, you've used leg presses before, they don't bother your back. And just kind of with that caveat up front, let's dig into this unit right here. So this is a compact leg press. There's a couple things that make it compact. It's relatively short and it's relatively kind of narrow. Now you still need room on either side to load the weight. So the weight horn is compact underneath here. A lot of the leg presses you'll see, they have these big weight horns on top. Well, underneath is where you load the weights. Now you still need room to get next to it to load the weights. So that's something that you're going to be wary of, is you can't just put this up against the sidewall because you won't be able to get the weights on there. But compared to other leg presses and hack squat machines, this does take a minimal amount of room. Now, is that a sacrifice in weight quality? Now, RitFit will tell you that the weight horn capacity on this is 1,100 or 1,200 pounds, I forget what it is. And the first thing I'm going to tell you right away is do not put 1,100 pounds on this. Do not put 1,000 pounds on this. What's going to happen is I've noticed that the most I've had on this is right around 500 pounds. At about 3 or 350. Now right here, what you see loaded is about 390 times 4. So it's 360 pounds. There's 360 pounds plus whatever the weight of the sled is. And I would tell you that the bearings at that weight, you really start to hear kind of struggling a little bit. And you'll see the rails start to kind of bend and flex. Just because it says it has a 1,200 pound capacity doesn't mean you could probably put 1,200 pounds on it. As you see me lower this 410 pounds, you're going to see the machine shake, and why I would probably recommend not putting that much weight on it. And look, they're gonna bend and flex a little bit under load, but maybe a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. So if you're going to be getting this particular machine, I personally wouldn't recommend putting much more than 500 pounds on here. And you'll need to get thinner plates than bumper plates to do that. But if you're going to do that, stick to that weight limit. If you need to go higher than that weight, what I found is effective is to do single leg work. So reduce the weight a little bit, use one leg at a time, and that's a great way to get past the weight capacity limit on this. But again, even though the specs say 1,000 pounds plus, don't put more than about 500 on here. Now, another limitation that you'll find, and you'll see this all over online, is that when you do the leg press, because of how this is set up, there's two safety bars on either side that flip up and down when you're using it. There is no special safety for the hack squat versus the leg press like some of them have. So your depth is a little restricted on the leg press. And what you're gonna wanna do, and what I've done is, typically I'll just take a bumper plate and put it under the back pad. That gets my body further up and allows me more depth when I'm using the leg press. So that's something that you're gonna wanna be able to do, is otherwise you're gonna find that you're hitting this bottom stop pretty quickly and you're not gonna get the depth. Now at 6'6", that's still an issue for me. So if you're shorter than that, that's really gonna be an issue for you. So just be aware that you're gonna have to kind of do a little bit of a workaround to get some depth. The good news is it's a really easy workaround. The back pad, which I wish was wider, but the back pad is really easy to move on and off, and just stick a bumper plate or something underneath it is actually a pretty easy solution. As far as the foot plate goes when you're pressing, because it's compact, this is a relatively small foot plate. Now when I'm doing single leg work, it is cool because I can actually rest my foot up against one of these handles for the hack squat, so it's got a place to put my foot. A lot of times when I do single leg work on a leg press, I end up putting my foot down here, which on this one isn't a good idea because the safeties don't keep it from going all the way down. But the foot plate itself could be a little bit bigger. Now it is nice that the foot plate's adjustable, the back plate's adjustable. When you're doing a hack squat, the plate for the hack squat is actually much bigger, gives you a little bit more room. So I don't have an issue with the size of the foot plate for the hack squat function, but for the leg press function, it's a little small. The other thing that I would say is that I really don't like this little fin in the middle. And I've seen this design element on quite a few different leg presses. This is kind of the hinge that this goes up and down on. Really, that hinge should be behind this plate. I don't like that this is in the way. The other kind of design issue with this as far as the leg press goes is there's this bar here. So there's not a great way in the leg press setup to use this for calf raises. So you've either end up using this bar right here, which me at 6'6", I can't because using this bar pushes it way too far to the top and I reach the end range. The other way that I've seen it, my guy Eric over at the Icebox Gym shared with me, he put some plate spacers in here and he'll put his feet through and actually use the bar, the weight bar itself. That makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna recommend that you do that. You are taking a safety risk like that because you're putting your feet onto the round bar and definitely could slip off. And boy, if that slips off, you ain't gonna have a good day with things. So I don't know that that's my favorite way. Probably the best way to do the calf raises on this is to use it in the hack squat format and then put some type of a block under your feet here, down here on the foot plate, and then do your calf raises that way. And that brings up something else that I'm not a huge fan of this, being my height. I actually can't use this for hack squats. The reason is it's not long enough because of its compact format for me to stand all the way up. I can't get full lockout on my legs on the hack squat of this. So what happens is I kind of get most of the way up and then I hit the top. Well, I definitely can't use it for calf raises that way. Although for a lot of my clients, we have used this for calf raises. It does work fairly well. Again, you do have that restriction of 500 pounds in here. I'm not sure what the actual feel weight is, but I do have clients who are doing that much weight, maybe close to that much weight on calf raises. So if you want to do a really heavy calf raise, you're doing low rep, high weight calf raises, this may not be the solution. The range makes you do a couple of workarounds, either putting something under the seat on the leg press or doing the calf raise kind of backwards, whereas most leg press machines, you're going to do the calf raise from the leg press position and then use the bottom of this plate. So that's kind of the pros and cons of this unit, the things that I like, the things that I'm not a fan of. I do like that it's compact. I do actually like the way that it works. It's relatively smooth. It sets up real easy. You can flip back and forth from hack squat to leg press fairly easily. So overall, it's a decent machine for what it is. You just have to be aware of those drawbacks that I pointed out. So who is this for? I know a lot of people who have this and actually really, really like it. And the reason they really like it is it's the only leg press that they can fit in the space that they have. You know, if you've got a tight spot and you can only fit this and you're comfortable with the weight limits and kind of the range limits that it has, it might be a good solution for you. As far as build quality goes, It's kind of on par with everything else that RitFit makes. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. There's definitely some issues with some of the powder coat. Some of the bolts and things like that don't look as nice as they should. There's some weird placement of things. But overall, it's functional. It does what you buy it to do. It's not super expensive. It's actually pretty economically priced. So overall, like I said, if you're that person, it might not be a bad fit for you. If you have an issue with any of those things I pointed out, there's plenty of other leg presses on the market. Stay tuned to the channel. I've got some more reviews coming up on some alternatives for you. But that's kind of it. That's the RitFit Compact Leg Press Hack Squat Machine. If you have any questions, post those in the comment below. Otherwise, thanks for hanging until now with the review. I'm Tim with GymCrafter.